channel, everybody.
Peace.
Good to see you. I'm back on this channel, and we'll be going live over here on Sundays. We'll be putting out the content. I'm managing multiple channels, but we're going to get into this today because I have a few things that I want to talk about. This is sort of an update from a video that I did, I believe it was a year ago, where you had a brother in Newbern, Alabama. He officially became the mayor when he put in paperwork, and he got cheated out of his opportunity to be the mayor because it's a town that has about 70%, it's 70% Black American, and the rest of the minority group are white folks in the town. Now, this is a town that has obviously been around since the Jim Crow days. They still have a level of segregation there. They still have a level of exactly what they had during Jim Crow. They have separate burial grounds for white people, Black people. Here we are in the 21st century, and we spend our time talking about things as if we actually have arrived. This man was disenfranchised. Matter of fact, this is a town in which the majority, I'm going to say this again, the majority of the people that lived in this town were Black, but they hadn't had a election for the mayorship in about 60 years. Did you hear what I just said? Did you just hear what I just said, y'all? 60 years. A damn shame. So I want to go over that because there's mayors around the country of small towns that many of us may have heard of, may not have heard of, that are going through a lot of struggles, a lot of issues, and we need to recognize what they're dealing with. We need to recognize that racism, bigotry, prejudice, it has not gone away. We've got places in this country, in the Deep South, where Black people are living and dealing with the same conditions as if they're in the 1940s and the 1950s. Has anybody heard of the Black Belt? We're talking about in Alabama, where this place is at. We're talking about Deep South, where you have people who still don't have proper sewage running, fecal matter on the ground, certain poor conditions in their community in this country we call America in the 21st century. I'm here to tell you right now, ladies and gentlemen, I know that some people are either Republicans, independents, or Democrats, and we all heard about what happened to Trump yesterday. But I'm here to tell you that either one of these parties are worth a damn.
Tell the truth.
Both these parties have been in power over the decades and years, yet Black people are still in a bad condition. Anytime you can have migrants that can come to this country, and we're talking about Black jobs that we got to compete. Why are we competing with people who are coming from countries with less skills than we have? And then it translates into a brother like this being treated poorly. This is Brother Patrick Braxton. He had to file a lawsuit. I've got videos. I'm going to give you a reminder of his situation, but he filed a lawsuit to fight against the bullshit. This other brother right here that I'll be talking about near the end of the show is Bart Littlejohn. Hell of a name, y'all. Bart Littlejohn. Bart Littlejohn has been given mayorship. He is officially the mayor of a place in Kansas called Lawrence City. The commission there appointed him as mayor through vote. People voted. And like anything in life, he had to go out and do what? Campaign. That's his campaign website. I'll go over that in some point in time. But I just want to lay out some stuff because this brother had a meeting as a mayor, and you had white people, white bigots, white supremacists, whatever you want to call it, who were peppering him with the N-word throughout the meeting. And I've got the footage of that shows you the bullshit that this brother is dealing with. We have black mayors, black people that are trying to have leadership in these small towns in this country that nobody talks about. Yeah, you may talk about a Brandon Johnson in Chicago over a big city, and he ain't doing much for black people out there either. But then you've got you actually got mayors of small towns or small cities who actually want to do something for their people. And you've got white folks who are still running roughshod in the 21st century. How can you have a town in Newbern, Alabama, that's deep south, everybody, you know that, where they haven't had a vote for mayorship? No one's applied for it for over 60 years because simply in the white population of that town, they would simply hand the position of mayor down from one generation to the other. Total nepotism on the racial side. Now, I want to put this on the board, and I want to thank everybody that's in the chat room. I have not gone live on this channel in some time, so it's going to take a while to get this channel into the algorithms, as I did with the other channel. What's going on, Sister Reviews? And we got Bronze Flat Power God. Now, I know that there are black people out there that are in support of Donald Trump. There's black people that are in support of Joe Biden, who's losing his damn mind before our eyes. It doesn't look good. And everyone is talking about the usual thing, which is what happened to Trump. You'll see where I'm going with this. Here's Trump as they're bringing him down. You'll see where I'm going with this as it relates to racism and what happens to black mayors of small towns by the usual suspects. So we have Trump. And y'all may not like what I'm going to have to say, but it's going to be the goddamn truth. You see, black people, we have a saying, and don't get quiet about this now, that what goes around comes around. When you manifest negativity into the universe, it comes back. I'm not surprised what happened to Trump, because Trump has been pushing a dog whistle ever since he's came into political life. But the Democrats are no better, as they lied to us about the condition of Joe Biden. He's lying and telling everybody that he gets medical checkups. You'll see where I'm going with this. So the Democrats are no damn better either. Biden hasn't done anything for black folks. So you have two elderly men, one who's losing his mind, one who lies all the time. His life was attempted upon yesterday. I don't condone violence, but I understand how this manifests. You know how this manifests? Because one of the issues that America fails to deal with, which is what these mayors are dealing with in their town, the racism, the prejudice, the white supremacy, the dog whistles, the militia groups, all these groups that support Donald Trump. You know I'm telling the damn truth. All these white supremacist groups that support this man who was attacked yesterday by someone that looks just like him. Here he is right here. The Thomas Cooks. Here he is in school. They said that he was picked on in school, that he dressed up in army outfits or hunting gear, and that he was made fun of. Here he is right here. What is the common denominator here? Well, he's white like Trump. Trump has many individuals who believe in their First Amendment right to bear arms, the white supremacist groups. Now, they said that this guy here, this man here, that he was, because everybody's going to run with their conspiracy theories, that they said that this man was a Republican, but he supported Democratic organizations. But guess what? I don't give a damn, because both the Democrats and the Republican Klan, they don't give a damn about us as black people. You know why? Because these same individuals are the ones that fuck with individuals like Brother Patrick Braxton or Brother Littlejohn, and I'm going to show it tonight. Tell the truth. You see, America has a problem. For so long, America has blamed the black man. They have made us to be the face of violence, criminality, and what have you. But yet, and then they'll tell you, what about black on black crime? What about white on white crime? What about Latino on Lat? White people commit crime on white people when they're in close proximity. Who committed crime against Trump yesterday? Was it a black man? Remember a couple of years ago when Trump came into the White House and one of his one of the guys that he appointed to run the DOJ, Department of Justice, they coined a phrase. See, y'all forget about these things. They coined a phrase under that administration that there were black extremists, that they were looking to focus on the black radical extremists. And I say to you, when have you had a black radical extremist, if there's such a thing, go after the president or go into schools and blow schools up? Go into supermarkets, what happened in Buffalo, New York, and attack black people. You see, why is it that we get stereotyped as black men of being the criminals of society when you have the white boys that fit the profile, like this individual here who went out there and attacked Donald Trump? America has a problem. Its problem is racism, white supremacy, prejudice. But America has a problem with its white males. It's middle-aged white males and it's young white males who find themselves having a desire to go out and do harm to people in schools, in public areas, and even attack your presidents. You see, you can go all the way back to Ronald Reagan. You can go all the way back to Kennedy. It was white males who attack your so-called leaders of America, which manifests itself into what black people have to do in communities like this brother right here in Newbern, Alabama. When I show you the story, what he went through, you'll understand what I mean. The danger in society, and I'm gonna be bold to say this, and I've said this in other videos before, the people that are the true threat to America and American democracy are white males. It is the white supremacist white males, the racist white males, the white males that are extremists like this guy here who attacked Trump. Why is it that the media is not talking about the fact that there's something wrong with white males? White males that attack Trump. But then those same white males that attack Trump also attack black men, and they also attack black women. You see, what goes around comes around. When you put into the ether, into the universe, negativity, it comes back to you. We often say in this country, if you live by the sword, you'll die by the sword. If you put out negative things, it comes back to you. The very individuals that are part of these militia groups, these white supremacist groups that like Donald Trump, that support Donald Trump, look just like this individual who attacked Donald Trump. And that's the very group. Remember when when Donald Trump had a debate with Biden the first time, when Biden didn't lose his mind yet, they were asking him about the Oath Keepers and all those groups that follow him. And he told them to stand down, but stay ready or something. I'm not quoting it completely. He said, stand down, but be ready. Even when you had the situation in Charlottesville, he called those white supremacists in Charlottesville very fine people. The same type of white boys that make up the profile of this guy right here is what almost took Donald Trump's life. And this manifestation since Trump has come into office the first time and Trump has brought his political views and everyone into the mix, we have had an uptick in all types of incidents. Not that we didn't have it before, but a lot of these white folks feel emboldened because they got their man Trump pushing the narratives and the dog whistles of make America great again, which is just a dog whistle for make America white again. When was America great for black people? What damn decade? Was it slavery? Was it 1800? Was it 1700? Was it the 1950s when we were in Jim Crow? This manifestation that attacked Trump, the white boy with the rifle, is the same manifestation that attacks black people in towns like Braxton. It's the same mentality. Because this brother here, as you see right here, this is what he's dealing with. Alabama man denied office after winning election and reaches proposed settlement to become the town's first black mayor. The town's first black mayor, a town in which there's 70% of black people, and you have the same white supremacists, white males who are becoming a danger to the country because they're the ones going out here doing the mass deletion of people like this guy here. And they're the same ones that vote and support Trump. The energy that you put out into the air is the energy that you will get back. That's the way the universe works. The town of Newbern, Alabama, and a black man who was prevented from becoming the town's mayor after winning his 2020 election. Thank you, everybody that's coming into the house. I see you, Black Anonymous. I see you, Nagoon 11. See, I'm going to tell it the way the truth is because a lot of people don't want to deal with this fact. That white folks have always felt emboldened, but Donald Trump has made them even more emboldened. This is why they can go into mayors' meetings and cuss and use N-words towards black mayors. And we as black people have to stop using the word and making it a term of endearment. Braxton, will officially become the mayor of Newburn once the courts approve the settlement. The first black person to hold the position in the town. The town has a 166-year history. That's a damn shame. Made up of mostly black people. Newburn is about an hour drive from Selma, and we know the history of Selma. The Pettis Bridge and black people marched across that bridge. Dr. King got hurt. Many people took a beating walking across that bridge over the issues of the Voters' Right Act, 1965 Voters' Right Act. And don't let you think that I don't understand that the Democrats were once the Dixiecrats, which was the party of the Ku Klux Klan. And those Dixiecrats that a lot of people fail to say, that those Dixiecrats jumped their ass from the Democratic Party over to the Republican Party. That's why they're the same. They're the same bird of the same left and right wing. What have black people gotten from either one of these parties in the history that we've been living here when anytime we have of migrants coming over here, and now there's the issue of what Trump said about black jobs? Why are we in a predicament as black people in this country where we're competing with migrants and our economic situation is not great? That means the Democrats haven't done shit for us. And even when the Republicans have been in office, they haven't done shit for us either. Both parties are useless. Alabama has a population of 133 according to the 2020 census. 133 people in this community, which is made up of mostly black people. I just want to tell it. But this brother's been going through. Nobody should go through. Here he is being sworn in. He got sworn in the first time, and then the white folks in this town tried to stop him from being mayor by going to the courts against him and saying, oh, you can't be mayor, your paperwork's not right. Even though the individual that they claim was mayor never filed paperwork as well. Here he is. They locked him out of the mayor's office. He put together a staff. Wait till I show you these videos today that are really going to blow you away in these YouTube streets. I want to thank everybody that's coming over. Make sure if you haven't, check out the Info Media channel. That used to be Information Man Speaks Podcast. And I've rebranded that channel to Info Media Reacts, where I do reaction videos. I react to all different subjects. That channel's popping over there right now. Let's get to the video. I want y'all to see this. This is giving you just a little background about this brother right here that I've been talking about. Check this out. Check this out, everybody. Peace and respect to everybody in the chat room.
Newbern, Alabama is one of those small places in America where you'll find nearly a dozen churches to worship the Lord, but not a single grocery store. It's barely a mile long with about 200 people, an old cotton town where the history of slavery still lives deep in the soil. Even the cemeteries are still racially segregated. This is where white people are buried.
Did you all hear that, everybody? We're in the year 2024, so-called 21st century, and you've got a town it's almost like they're back, or no, they are back in the old times. They got separate cemeteries, no resources. This is crazy. In the 21st century.
And over here is the dirt road that takes you to a hill where the descendants of former slaves still bury their dead today.
I'm not trying to divide the town, just want to make the town better.
For the first time ever, a child of those black ancestors has become the city's mayor, hoping he can bring people together. But in a lawsuit he's filed in federal court, he says that some of his white neighbors have kept him from the job and locked him out of office. And he's seen here arguing with one of them outside the building, a city clerk who he and his black voters tried to persuade to their side but failed.
What you're doing is unjust.
No, it's not.
It is. It's absolutely unjust. It's unjust by this gentleman and it's unjust by the people of this town.
Do you feel cheated?
Oh, yeah.
Do you feel discriminated against?
Yes.
What is it that you want to see happen?
I want to take my rightful seat and I want to hold each and every one of them accountable for what they did.
Information is power.
You know what I like about what he said? He said he wants to take his rightful place and hold every one of them accountable. I am so glad that he's not chowtowing, that he's not buck dancing, because those folks, those white folks in this community, they locked them out of the mayor's office. They locked that office up. The office had been locked down for 3 years. They discriminated against him, wouldn't let him have access to the treasury, the monies of the town. And the guy that was holding office was never legally appointed and was legally voted on for. He simply got the job handed down to him. A town of 70% black, the majority of 133 people. Let's continue on.
56-year-old Patrick Braxton was born and raised here and became the city's first black mayor in 2020 when he quietly filed the paperwork at this county courthouse to run for the position. Up until that year, no one had ever officially put in for the job.
How many years has this place gone without an election?
I think they said about 60 something.
So then how was the mayor decided here?
Just hand it down, hand it down.
And let me guess, what was the race of this mayor in this town? What's it always been?
White.
Yeah, every single time.
Yes.
You hear what he said? The job of mayor has been handed down like hand-me-down pants, and it's always white. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that he said that it's been like that for over 60 years. So when you get up on panels and you debate with people who tell you that racism, the institution of it, is still very real, I hear people say, oh, we've made so much progress. No, you still got black people living in towns like this, in places like Alabama, where they're being oppressed. See, if you're living in New York, California, you're living in these big cities, if that's your only worldview based on what's happening in these bustling urban settings, and you've not in those southern settings, in these backward small towns that many of us sometimes haven't even heard of, you have no idea what's happening to black people in these Rust Belt states, these black belt states like Alabama, Arkansas, these southern states, which, by the way, the majority of these southern states like Alabama are run by, like I told you, both these parties ain't shit. They're run by Republicans. Alabama, that had a water crisis, is run by a Republican governor. The Republicans ain't doing shit for Jackson, because Jackson has a large percentage of black people. They want to push those black people out of that community by flooding them out with the bad water, because they want to take the capital back over and gentrify it and get the Negroes out. But they tell you and me, so when people say, well, the Democrats' cities are ran poorly, yes, they are. And the Republican cities in the South are ran poorly, particularly when it has to do with black folks. And they do everything they can to keep black folks out of a seat of power. They both play games with you. That's why I'm not fooled by anything that's going on in this political season. I see the okie doke. I see the critical thinking that is needed. Black folks haven't gotten anything from either one of these parties that's worth a dime. I know that we should demand of the Democrats what they should be doing for us. They haven't told us shit what they're going to do for us. And then, of course, there's people that's saying, hey, I'm not voting Democrat. I get it. But then if you're going to vote Republican, have the Republicans told us what they're going to do for us? And dismiss me with that Project 2025. That shit is white people's agenda. That's white racists and white supremacists. That's their agenda being implemented for them. That's been the damn plan all along. This country, the laws in this country were never meant and set up to benefit the black man and black woman in the first place. Wake up. And this is why this brother could be treated the way he was. Check this out. It manifests itself in these small towns and places in this country where black people get disenfranchised. This is how it manifests itself.
The mayor at the time was this man, Haywood Stokes III.
I want to stop it right there. Haywood Stokes III. Check this out. This is how it works, y'all. This is how it works. Did you know that Haywood Stokes III, he got the job as mayor of Newbern, Alabama, because it was handed down to him by his father, not because he was elected, even though Patrick Braxton filed the proper paperwork and everything to run for mayor. Now, check this out. Patrick Braxton did volunteer work for the fire department in his community along with Stokes. He said that he knew Stokes, that they worked together. But then check this out. When he applies to be mayor, Stokes knows who he is. This man right here knows who Braxton is, worked with him. But the white supremacy, the empowerment of a white male saying, I'm going to stay in charge, even though he worked with Braxton, knew who Braxton was, and they worked together, he had no problem with making sure that I can work with this Negro. I can work with you. We can have a job. We can even have the similar political views. But damn it, I'm not giving you power. So either way, either one of these political parties that you want to you want to attach yourself to, they're not giving black people no power. They'll use you. The Democratic Party has used us. The Republican Party will use us just the same. But the problem is, what power do we get out of it? Here's a man that he worked with for years that knew him. This man right here knew who Braxton was, but he didn't give a damn because he still disenfranchised this brother. This is what's really going on in these communities across this country, especially in these southern states, these Bible Belt states, where people claim to be a Christian, but they'll treat you the way they treated this brother right here, Braxton. Let's continue on.
His father, Haywood Stokes Jr., who died 10 years ago, was the mayor before. And in a response to the federal lawsuit, he and his lawyers admit that the town of Newbern has not held an election for years prior to decide who leads their city. But they deny that there's any racism or a conspiracy here to keep black people out of office. He and Patrick Braxton.
If that's true, why have there never been a black mayor of a town that is made up 70%, damn near 80%, 70% of black people, 133 years? Why are they handing down the job to their own kinfolk that look like them? Nepotism at the most racist level. These are the same people in this town that I bet you any kind of money, the white folks in this town are the biggest, are the ones that run around just like the dog whistle that we hear from the mega folks. These are the folks that will run around and say, let's make America great again. But we'll make it great for ourselves while making sure that we'll just keep the Negroes out of power. But we have no problem with you letting you vote. Letting you vote to get our man in, but we ain't gonna do nothing for you. Same thing the Democrats do. They pander to black people. They go to black churches. Donald Trump went to Detroit, one of the most blackest cities in the country, goes to a church where you hardly even see any black people in it. Then you got Biden. He's going to churches and running around talking about what he's gonna do. And guess what? We get nothing in our bag. We get treated like Charlie Brown on Halloween with nothing in your bag. Let's get back to it.
Braxton are both volunteers at the fire station on Main Street. They've known each other for more than a decade. So it was a shock to everyone when the legal deadline had passed to run for the job, and this time a black man, Patrick Braxton, had gone through the trouble of filing the proper paperwork and was the one and only candidate. Mm-hmm. Months later, he was seen here being sworn into office by a state judge.
Right.
And like previous mayors before him, he appointed his own city council who put their hands on the Bible that same warm evening.
That's right.
We was very excited. We had one meeting.
You did have a meeting in City Hall?
One, yes.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
We got a chance to come in, and
Tried to get organized.
Tried to organize what, that was it.
They say it felt good in a town where 85% of the residents are black to find.
Ooh, let me correct myself, ladies and gentlemen. It's 95%. I kept saying 70%. Damn, 95%. What? %. Wow.
We have a city council that looked more like the people they serve.
So you met the former mayor, Woody, after you were sworn in,
Yes.
and there didn't appear to be any problems?
No problem.
And said, here are the keys?
Yeah.
And that's it?
That's it. And walked off.
So now you have a meeting at City Hall. When did the doors get locked?
Well,
I
we
guess
don't
the next
know.
day, we don't know exactly when. I guess they knew we was there.
Can you imagine? It's a city hall. It's the town hall, and it's locked forever. It's been locked for 2 years now.
It's been locked for 2 years, as the sister says here.
Well, I feel that it's all about race. And I don't mind saying that. That's
Boom. See, this is what I like. I like when our baby boomers, our elder statesmen and states ladies, I like when older black people tell it like it is and don't apologize for saying the truth.
Tell the truth.
As she just said, it's about race.
what it's about, because I've lived here all my life.
That's another thing I noticed. She lived there all her life. I can't imagine living in a community that's made up of 95% of black people. I said 70%. I made a big mistake there. It was 95%. Living in a community in which white folks are in complete control of a community that you dominate in terms of numbers. This is crazy. This is happening not in 1960, not in 1950, not in 1940s, 1920s. This has been happening in the 2021st. This brother first put his paperwork in 2020. The story that you just witnessed there with ABC, and then I think CNN has interviewed him too as well. They're just now talking about it. I was talking about this when it happened. I did a video on this channel. What was it? Was it a year or 2 years ago I talked about this issue? I was talking about this issue on this channel when nobody was talking about it in the mainstream news. And now they get around to talking about it now. This is crazy.
Tell the truth.
I want to say peace to everybody. Another CG, Mike B's in the house, GT, Jackie Gaines, I see you, my sister. Thank you for coming over. Rona Morning Coffee, thank you for coming over. Thank you, everybody that's here for this content. Now, this is the type of content that a lot of our people need to be listening to. I didn't want to spend my day today doing a whole show talking about Donald Trump. That situation with Donald Trump is what it is. He got attacked by a white boy, and this country has a problem, as I said before, with white men taking semi-automatic weapons and doing harm to their own people. And he did harm to Trump. And Trump has people that support him that fit his profile. That's the crazy thing about it. It manifests. This shit will manifest itself. Remember, see, this is what some black people that support Trump, and I'm not a supporter of Biden. The hell with Biden too. But remember, how can y'all look at yourself in conscious mind when you know that there were two black women, which is why Rudy Giuliani is going broke, that lied on two black women and said that they cheated in the vote. And those black women were harassed. They were threatened by who? The people that follow Donald Trump, his minion, who were threatening those black women. How can any black person in this country look at themselves in the mirror and be cool with that shit? Or be cool with what happened to the Central Park 5 when Donald Trump was promoting and putting out ads to have those young men executed, black young men in New York, in Central Park, a park where black people used to live. Central Park used to be a black community before they stole that from black folks. So how can you set up here, both the parties are no good, both the characters are no good. Both characters, Donald Trump and Biden, are not worth a bag of fries.
Tell the truth.
The people that follow him were violent in the way that they were threatening. That sister, both, I think it was mother and daughter. They couldn't go outside. And then it came out in the wash that it was all a lie, that they didn't cheat anything. But the Donald Trump minion were the ones that were harassing two black women. And we ain't got nothing to say about that. Which is why Giuliani is now going broke. He was doing Donald Trump's dirty work for him. The racism, the manifestation of it comes out in both these parties, and black people become the victims of it. Why they tell you and me that the black man is the criminal when you got the white boys that are going out and doing these types of execution style deletions or attempts to delete people. Why isn't the FBI coming up with a task force to go after the white extremists? Why are they not profiling the white boys, like the white boy that tried to take his life, Trump? Why are they not coming up with a task force for that? They certainly had a task force for the black extremists. And that was under Donald Trump's watch as the president when he had, I forgot the guy who was his DOJ, who was running the DOJ. But Donald Trump came into office when that whole thing manifested himself, and he never said anything about it. Hey, it's wrong. Biden comes into office and didn't do anything for Emmett Till, didn't do anything to benefit black people in the way we've been treated in the criminal system. Didn't give Viola Fletcher and Randall reparations. Miss Randall. And then we got black people like this dealing with this type of shit in
After
the 21st
you were
century.
sworn in.
Yes.
And there didn't appear to be any problems?
No problem.
And said, here are the keys?
Yeah.
And that's it?
That's it.
That's crazy. Let's go to the next video, everybody. I'm on one right now because I see things for what they really are. I know everybody has a right to their political views, your views. I'm not saying that nobody has a right to it, but I see things for what they really are.
And a volunteer firefighter.
So
I
now
love
he was a
helping
volunteer.
people.
This is the place where he was volunteering as a firefighter with Stokes, the guy who actually was given a job as mayor without any paperwork, proper paperwork, or elected. He worked in his fire department or volunteered with him all this time, and then Stokes tried to disenfranchise him.
Congratulations, you the mayor of the town. Oh, I was on top of the world. I was able to appoint city council. I reached out to not just black, but whites too, to ask them, you know, because I wanted to mix city council, not just one side of town, but get ideas from everyone.
So did you hear what he just said? That he wanted to have a rainbow fest of different people on the board, black and white, what have you. Brother, the white folks just trying to disenfranchise you. In the end, he ended up appointing a mostly black board because none of the white folks in that town wanted to serve under a black man. You get what's going on here. You see, they had no desire to serve under the leadership of a black male in 2024 and in the 21st century. This was going on in 2019, in 2020, 2021, 2023, because he had to file a lawsuit. And I think he just finally won that lawsuit. So this ain't nothing that happened in, decades ago, y'all. This is what's happening right now. And I appreciate everybody in the chat room coming through. Let's go back to this again.
You know, they side and this side, you know, to make the town better. That was great bill of obstacle put in my way to serve the town. So that's why we filed the lawsuit.
And then he said, well, I can't get into City Hall. I've been at this for about 3 years. I was just in disbelief.
And she dived right in and started trying to get assistance and help. Newbern is a great place, but it can be better. And we come together and work together. It means a lot to me. And for the future generation to come behind me, you know, I'm not going to give up, you know, in this fight. I would say, fight for what you believe in. I am the mayor of Newbern.
All right. As you can see, the brother has a sincere heart. He really wants to make the community better. When you saw the aerial shot, they don't really have a lot. They don't have a grocery store there. They don't have much, you know, development in this community. It's like going back in the future. I mean, no, I'm sorry. It's like going back in the past. And the brother has a vision. And what they did to him was wrong. All the shit he had to go through. And we're talking about, this is not happening. This is happening in the 21st century. So while we get on the YouTube streets and we debate and argue about things that really don't matter, we got real stuff happening out here to black folks that we're not even realizing is happening because we think that we're so far removed from the Jim Crow days, when you still got communities where black people live and this type of shit is happening to them. Let's go to the next video. I appreciate everybody that's here, no matter how small or large. I understand how YouTube works. People want to watch the polarizing content. This kind of content is the real kind of content that people don't want to watch because it's real life stuff. Next video.
Powell enjoys serving as a leader in Newbern's First Baptist Church. That's one reason why controversy swirling around her hometown's leadership troubles her.
We don't know who our elected official mayor is. We don't know.
Why is that frustrating?
Because we need things done.
Welcome to Newbern, Alabama, the home to one caution light. Its population of 133 is nearly 70% black. But until 2020, it had never had a black mayor.
How long has this been here?
Patrick Braxton said he cannot remember a municipal election ever being held here. The power of mayor being chosen by default instead of elected. Then 3 years ago, he decided to run.
I was tired of seeing one side of the town being treated different from the other side. I want everyone to be created equal in this town.
After being the only qualifying candidate.
You see, folks, black people, we have a good heart, and almost to a fault, it almost becomes our Achilles heel. We're always the one who are being discriminated against, and then we're the ones that are trying to do what? The right thing. So we get discriminated against, we get mistreated, and we're the main ones that'll say, I want to work with everybody. We want to have an equal town. We're always taking the higher ground. More so than people take the higher ground when it comes to dealing with us. All that shit he went through, and he's still saying he wants to, he wants to work with people. This is something that black people innately have in our heart. We're innately spiritual people who don't really go out of our way to just harm people, but certainly people go out of their way to harm us and mistreat us.
July of 2020, he won by default. That made Patrick Braxton Newbern's first black mayor in its 165-year existence.
I have big plans for Newbern. I have plans for food sharing, food distribution.
But those plans never materialized. That's because he claims the former white mayor and majority white council locked him out of town hall, and he was denied access to.
Now, that's the guy Stokes that he worked with. Stokes knew who this man was, and all them years of working with him as a volunteer firefighter, as I said before, that white boy locked him out. See, this is the thing. This is the thing, folks. They don't have a problem working with us on a job. But the fact of the matter is, when it comes to sharing power, now there's a problem there.
Newbern's mailbox and bank accounts.
That's very frustrating, knowing that the vision and dream that I had for this town couldn't be carried out, or locking me out and holding me back.
Around the same time, the former council claims it scheduled its own special election. Every member won by default, like Braxton, since there was no opposition. They basically stripped you of your power.
Yes. That's what happened.
And that's what he argued in a lawsuit filed against the former mayor and council. His lawyer stated when Braxton won, the conduct of all the defendants perpetuates the history of race discrimination in the Black Belt.
I'm not trying to divide this town. I'm trying to bring this.
Didn't I just say that if you go into the Black Belt of this country, there are black people living in poor conditions. There are black people living and dealing with this sort of shit like this, almost as if they're back 40, 50, 60 years ago. Nobody talks about these areas, these rural areas in this country that Republicans are in control of, the Republican clans, and they don't do shit for black people. Same thing can be said for black people that live in urban environments like Detroit, Chicago, New York, San Francisco, LA, where you have Democratic-run cities. And once again, those politicians there don't do shit for black people. Can't you see the reality that both political parties don't do shit for either one of us? They both have their own agenda to benefit each other. I don't know how many of you in the chat room have actually been in Washington, D.C., and you've gone to restaurants. And when you see these politicians, whether it be Republicans, let me hip y'all to something. Because people that live in D.C. around the D.C. Beltway, they know what I'm talking about. If you've ever been in D.C. and you've gone to, those nice restaurants, and you see Republicans and Democrats who you just saw not too long ago on a show on television, debating back and forth, acting like they hate each other, or going back and forth with each other in the chambers and government. And then they cut the real deal when they go out together for dinner and lunch. And now they're talking to each other, and you can ear hustle, and you can hear them cutting the deal while having a drink and a steak and saying, man, you didn't have to be so hard on me on the CNN show. Oh, it's just, they will joke with each other, go back and forth about, hey, man, you didn't have to be that hard on me. But at the end of the day, they paint the picture to you that they're really against each other, when in fact, these politicians actually work together behind the scenes to cut the deal. The Democrats want to get something from the Republicans, so they'll grease their palms a certain way. The Republicans want to get something from the Democrats, so they'll grease their palms. And so they're hanging out behind the scenes, drinking wine, eating steaks, and that's where the real deals are being cut, while they're laughing and giggling with each other, because they know that both of each other are going to make out economically like bandits, because they got all the lobbyists putting money in their pockets, whether it be the Democratic Party or the Republican Party. These politicians are making out like bandits. They're living good while we're going back and forth with each other with these debates about Democrat and Republican, when in fact, these politicians, they're the ones living good. They're the ones that got best health care package. They got a better retirement package than me and you. And they get the perks of being lobbied and having money put in their back of their pockets. You see. This is part of the game. And the same game that was run on this brother, because white folks in that town did not want to share power. It's about power. It's not about ideology. It's about who's going to have power. Every couple of years, it's a game that they run on us. The Democrats get in power for 4 or 8 years, then they're out of power. Then the Republicans come into power for 8 years or maybe 4 years, then they're out of power. Both parties go back and forth with sharing power that they don't share with us. And then they got you caught up in the ideology of, I'm following Trump. I'm following Biden. Guess what? We're all being made fools of, because they're all, at the end of the day, no matter what happens, Biden, if he loses his mind, guess what? Biden's still going to be rich and still going to have money. Even if Donald Trump wins this election or doesn't win this election, he's still going to have power. He's still going to have some money, even though he's got to pay those suits out, you know, those court fees. But at the end of the day, Trump gonna be okay. He's still gonna live well. He's still gonna live in a good house. He's gonna have a good retirement plan. Why me and you have nothing? Why a black man like this in a town where it's the majority people that look like him, you got a small minority of white folks trying to undercut him in his pursuit for power, political power, to help his people.
Town together for all of us to be able to enjoy Newbern.
And there was,
and then he says it's about all of us enjoying Newton. That what he's saying is noble, but the folks that kept you out of power there, brother, they don't want to share in the beauty of you enjoying Newton. They want it for all themselves. They want Newbern for themselves.
The former mayor and council deny Braxton's claims in the suit and go on to say there is nothing in the plaintiff's amended complaint that would show the defendants intended to discriminate against plaintiffs because of their race. They also cite this March 2023 Attorney General opinion that disqualified Braxton as mayor.
So originally, when he filled out the paperwork to become mayor, they threw it out. So even the bigotry and the bullshit went all the way up to their highest political landscape, as you can hear there. It's crazy.
It pointed out he failed to show up for council meetings for 3 months, which resulted in his removal from office by operation of law. That leaves the former.
How could he show up for council meetings when, one, they locked him out of the mayor's office, which they didn't have open for 2 years, and this was a town in which white people were giving leadership to people by whoever they chose to give it to. So therefore, they were having meetings where it was just white folks, and black folks had nothing to do or had any input, because they had what you call nepotism in choosing who would be the next leader of the town in terms of mayorship. It's crazy.
Mayor of this sleepy Hale County town carrying out the duties. So in the eyes of residents like Powell, it's unclear who she should call for help.
So if I was to ask you right now who the mayor of Newbern is, what is your answer?
There's 1 or 2 people.
Confusion she believes a trip to the ballot box could fix.
We should be able to vote. We should be able to vote.
And when the next Newbern election is...
You hear that? You hear that, folks? She said we should be able to vote. So that means black folks have been disenfranchised in this town for years. Now, that video that I played you is a video that was prior to him winning the lawsuit, in which now he is legally recognized as the mayor of this town. This was part of the update because I did a video on this sometime back. So this is what's going on. This is the update. Now, I also made an attempt to see if I could get Patrick Braxton onto my channel to interview him about this, and I was not able to get in contact with him. I made an effort, but was never able to get a hear back. I'm going to try to see again if I'm going to make another effort to see if I can reach out to this brother and get him on my program to further talk about this situation that happened to him, because it's a damn shame.
Tell the truth.
Now, talking about black men being in leadership and how we're not being real respected, because this is being manifested out of what's happening in our society today, where people are feeling more emboldened to push forth their racism and talk shit to black people because they got their man in office, or they had their man in office, and that's Trump. That they feel emboldened by Trump. That I'm talking about the racists, the white supremacist type. They feel emboldened because they're the biggest supporters of his movement. Let me show you what I'm talking about. This is brother right here is brother Bart Littlejohn. Remember I said Bart Littlejohn is the mayor of a place called Lawrence City in Kansas. Here is his campaign when he first ran for mayor. Bart Littlejohn has been a resident of Lawrence since 1995 and is currently living in the Picknell neighborhood. I don't know if I'm making that out right. Neighborhood with his wife, Lynette, and young son. Within that time, he's been involved with Junior Achievement, St. Patrick's Day Parade committees, while also leading internal teams in previous employment. Bart recently served as the president of the Picknell Neighborhood Association. So he's the president of his neighborhood association. He is currently chair of the Parks and Recreation Advisement Board. That's what he was prior to becoming mayor. And is serving on the Douglas County Community Health Plan Steering Committee. This brother's very active, very involved in his community. As of 2019, he's a 2019 graduate of leadership. Lawrence Bart believes that a community is strengthened when input and access are options for all. When you give input and you give people options, okay? He is, once again, this is us as black people. We always want to be inclusive with everybody, right? So he's got that kind of mindset here when he was running. He is a graduate of the University of Kansas with a degree in political science and works as a marketing manager at the Research Equipment. I just wanted to give you a little background about this brother before I go into his story. You definitely don't leave. This one's going to be crazy. So there he is right here. And what I want to do is show you what happened to him. Here's another picture of the brother right here, smiling. Here he is, I guess, on the commission board. He's mayor. And they had a meeting. And apparently you had the usual racist suspects, the racist white males, who I said again, the white male is the one that law enforcement should be keeping an eye on, because they're the ones that's going into schools. They're the ones that are attacking presidents like Trump. They're the ones that are out of control. They're the ones that need to be reviewed. But yet they keep watching us. They came into his meeting and they start peppering the N-word, and he said, okay, we're going to dismiss and have a break. They didn't like the fact that he decided to take a break because of being peppered with the N-word. And they try to justify it and say, oh, it's my right. It's my freedom of speech. And come on, man, you got soft skin if you can't take this word I'm saying to you. This is white folks. And this was the main dude that got up there and was talking shit to brother Bart Littlejohn. This white man right here was definitely open about his racism. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's get to it as we get close to conclusion. I appreciate everybody in the chat room. Yeah, it is crazy, Dennis. It's crazy, GT. Can tell already. Yeah, it's crazy. But let's go to the first video so you can see what was going on here. Check this out. Listen to this. Check it out. This is fair use with the purpose of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which does not infringe on the copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. Federal laws allow citizens to produce, distribute, exhibit portions of copyright motion picture, video, tapes, or video discs under certain circumstances. Okay, let's get to it. Let's get to it right now.
Discrimination in this room is illegal. It's a civil rights violation, Bart. You're a black man. Why can't you understand civil rights?
You hear what he did. You hear what this sucker right here said to him. You're a black man. You should understand civil rights. Real nasty stuff.
Discrimination in this room is illegal. It's a civil rights violation, Bart. You're a black man. Why can't you understand civil rights? That should be a forte for you. I thought
you hear the arrogance. Why don't you understand civil rights? That should be a forte for you. Very arrogant, very, very arrogant. It's crazy.
And civil rights. That should be a forte for you. I thought about coming up here and using some language. And I even said what I wanted to say to one of the officers.
When he said language, he's talking about he really wanted to get up there and say the N-word and, you know, say all the racist tropes, all the racist things that are dearly, really in his heart, y'all. Let's get at it.
I'm not going to say it out of respect for somebody else on that dais. Trust me, Bart, if you were the only colored person on that dais, I would be saying what I want to say right now. I think you know what I'm talking about. The difference between house and field. You know what I'm talking about.
Uh-oh. He's talking about the whole thing around the field Negro in the house Negro. Listen to this, man. Here it goes.
I think you know what I'm talking about. The difference between house and field. You know what I'm talking about. Oh, in your smile. I'm not your field, bitch. You understand?
Did you all hear what he just said? The white man tells Bart, the mayor of Lawrence City in Kansas City, that I'm not your field Negro. He used the N-word. You see how what this is? This is another form of the manifestation of how these white supremacist white men feel emboldened. This is why they go for guys like Trump, who says, let's make America great again, because they feel that they want to go back to a time when they could talk to black people, black men, black women, the way he's talking to this brother. The brother, I don't know if I could have kept my tongue. I would have probably jumped across there and did, I probably wouldn't have been mayor no more because I would have done something to him. But this is when they say, let's make America great again, it's because they want to be able to talk to black people in the way that this man is talking to Bart right now. This is what it all, that's the dog whistle, y'all.
I think you know what I'm talking about. The difference between house and field. You know what I'm talking about. Oh, in your smile. I'm not your field, bitch. You understand?
You see that?
I am not your field. Leave. You can't ask me to leave. That's protected speech. I am not your field. You want to arrest me? Bring it on, Holmes. One of you cops want to do it? Direct them. Direct them.
If you notice, none of the police did anything to stop him when he made the threat that, hey, you want to get the police on me? Come on over and get me. He says that it's protected speech. Let's find out, what is protected speech. Freedom of speech includes the right not to speak, specifically the right not to salute the flag. Freedom of speech is the students to wear black armbands to school to protest a war. Students do not share this constitutional right at the schoolhouse gates. So at the schoolhouse gates, you can't do that. Freedom of speech to use certain offensive words and phrases to convey a political message. Was there anything about what he was saying to convey a political message, y'all, other than he wanted to use racial slurs to cause Bart to trigger? He wanted to talk shit about Bart in a racial way. His phrases had nothing to do with a political message. There was no political messaging there other than you're not going to treat me like a house, you know what, because you're the one this is racial slurs. To contribute to money under certain circumstances to political campaigns, right? To advise commercial products and professional services with some restrictions. To engage in symbolic speech, burning the flag in protest, symbolic speech. That wasn't a symbolic speech by this man, okay? Nothing was symbolic, right? Just like freedom of speech does not give you the right to go into a crowded movie theater and yell fire if there's no movie theater, there's no fire in the movie theater. There was nothing that he said that was political in nature other than he was trying to insult Bart based on racial slurs. It's crazy, y'all.
Leave. You can't ask me to leave. That's protected speech. I am not your field. You want to arrest me? Bring it on, Holmes. One of you cops want to do it? Direct them. Direct them.
That's true. You've got 22 seconds left, so go ahead and use it.
So when I say that the white male is the danger to America, I'm going to say it again. It is not the black man or the black young man that is a danger to American society. It has been the white male who has been the danger with the mass deletions, with taking weapons and harming people, with the discrimination that they've been pushing for years and decades. They are the ones, the white supremacist type that think like him, are the ones that are the danger.
Son of a bitch. Did you guys not just, he wants to remove me because of my speech that he has instigated all night in here. Watch that clock. Watch that clock. I'm going to go to 30 seconds after, and you're not going to arrest me because it happened twice in here tonight. It happened twice in here tonight.
Officer, he is clearly causing a disruption.
He is not causing a disruption. He is going over time.
You go ahead and remove him.
He is going over time.
He is causing a disruption because he's taking personal shots, racial slurs and personal shots towards the mayor, Bart Littlejohn, by saying things about him personally in terms of his ethnic background, making racial slurs that have nothing to do with the business of the town or the city. It's one thing to criticize them and say, hey, you guys are not doing a good job on this. You know, you guys are not taking care of the fire hoses, the electricity. We're having all kind of utilities issues in the city. Those types of things you can criticize people for, but he's taking personal racial slurs at the man because of the color of his skin. That ain't, no, he should be removed. What do you all think?
And if you have me removed before that clock gets to 3 minutes and 25 seconds, I'm going to sue you and the police officer that does it. I'm going until 3 minutes and 25 seconds. And I'm going until 3 minutes and 25 seconds.
All right, y'all. It's crazy. It's crazy, y'all. I got another video clip because there's not just him, but there's more white people in this town who came to this board, and once again they were mad that they decided to take a break because they were peppering the N-word, and they were upset about Bart taking matters into his own hands and saying, hey, we need a break. We're going to break for a minute. There's just too much happening here. And they didn't like it. So they came back at him some more. Check this out. Let's get to it. Here we go.
Y'all are so soft. A word shuts down the meeting. Talk about being fragile. A word. And during this break that you had to take, y'all scurried out of here because he said a word, because you're so fragile. Mike Dever there sits there and says that he understands that this is free speech. You cannot shut somebody down for the word they say, Bart. You can't do that.
Let's go into free speech again. So freedom of speech does not include the right. Check this out. Freedom of speech does not include the right to incite lawless action, imminent lawless actions. So you don't have the right to incite and create lawlessness. These are the laws that were created because of this, to make or disturbance. Right here again, to make or to disturb. to burn draft cards as an anti-war protest. You can't do that. To permit students to print articles in school newspapers over the objection of a school administration. You can't do that. Of students to make absent speech at a school sponsor event. Obscene speech. Let me correct myself. Obscene speech at a school sponsored event. Another thing, I'm going to go back to the second one that I said. I want to get this right. To make or disturb obscene material. So you can't push obscene material. So if you got material where you're pushing racism, Nazism, you can't. That's not protected. No, you can't do that. Not when you bring it into a public place that taxpayers are paying for. Of students to advocate illegal drug use at a school-sponsored event, you can't do that. So if you're talking, if you're talking up stuff about, use drugs, use this, do that, you can't do that. Freedom of speech does not include the right to do these things. You can't incite people. You can't promote things on certain school grounds. You can't be disruptive or bring disruptive material. And they are being disruptive in this case. Let's continue.
Mike Dever says he understands that, but sits there silently and quietly and doesn't do a thing about it while our rights are getting shut down for a word. It is letters put together that form a word that comes out of our mouth, and you can't tolerate that. A word? Can I say?
How much you want to bet that this dude is a mega head? How much you want to bet this dude is a Trump supporter? Trump has a lot of people like these guys who support him. I bet you any kind of money that he supports the right-wing talking points and the right-wing philosophy in a lot of those militia groups. I bet you I wouldn't be surprised if he's not in a militia group himself.
Shut it down, Bart. Shut it down. It's a word.
Thank you.
Why aren't you shutting it down? Why aren't you shutting it down? What's the difference? Shut me down, Bart. Am I less fragile than you, Bart? Can't stand a little word? Do you understand what free speech means? It means you have to shut up and listen to us.
No. This man's a damn fool. Free speech doesn't have anything to do with you having to shut up and listen to someone say anything that they want. No, that's not free speech. Free speech is not you having to sit there and listen to what someone is saying that's about insulting them racially. No, it's not. Now, if he gets up there and he talks about something municipal, something that has to do with the city, the water, the plumbing, various utilities that run a city, and he's disappointed in the work of the council, the work of the mayor, based on what he's not doing for the people that voted for him, you can criticize them based on those measures. But to set up there and pepper him with the N-word and say, yeah, you gotta be that's bullshit.
Hurt your little feelers or not. I don't give a if it hurts your feelings. In fact, I'm glad it does. Shows how weak and soft you are. You have to shut down the meeting and run away for 10 minutes to what? Cry like a little bitch? Republican, Brad, right? You're a Republican while our rights get...
Boom. I told you. I know what I'm talking about. This man is a Republican, probably a Donald Trump supporter. And he sits up there and he says to one of the guys on the council, you're a Republican and you're sitting back and letting our rights be trampled over. So basically he said to the other white man, you're not on code. See, we talk about being on code, black people. That white dude is calling out the white guy on this council who's a Republican, which means he's a Republican too. And he's saying to him, you're not on code. You're letting our rights being trampled. So therefore, he's basically saying, you're not letting me disrespect this Negro that's the mayor. You're not allowing me to call him an N-word and say whatever I want racially to him. You're not being on code with us, brother. You're supposed to be on code. You're supposed to be down with this. Didn't I tell you a lot of these folks are following the Republican Klan? And the Democrats are no better either. But a lot of these folks are prescribing to this Republican Democrat bullshit. In this case, it's obvious what that guy is. So he's basically saying, I should have the right to talk to this black man just the way my ancestors talked to him in the past. That's what they mean, folks, when they say, make America great again. That's the dog whistle.
Trampled and just sit there? Do you understand what free speech is? Free speech means that if you're going to shut him down for that,
he has not defined to you what free speech is. You notice how he says, do you know what free speech is? And then he gets real quiet because the white boy himself doesn't have the true understanding of it himself.
You got to shut me down for saying and right?
Kind of.
Here comes another one.
Okay, that's kind of a bit much to take a 5-minute recess at this point in time. I mean, you're talking about we had to make all these changes because the meetings were going too long, and then you take these unnecessarily long breaks just to remove someone at this point in time for saying a word. So I just want to throw that out there.
All right, y'all. That's what's going on. That's what's going on. Don't be fooled by the bullshit. Don't be fooled by either one of these political parties. They both don't have no respect for black folks. You got so-called liberals out there that talk down to black people, think that they know us. Republicans, same thing. They act like they can talk to us any kind of way they want to. And what they do, this is the game that they play. They get black conservatives to say the racial stuff to us as well, to talk shit about us so that they can't be accused of being called a racist. So you get the Negroes, you get the lapdogs to get up and criticize. If you look at most black Republicans, that's all they really do. You see it on social media, you see it on mainstream media. They get on these shows and all they really do is talk about what's wrong with black folks. When has the Republican Klan put their money and resources behind a black candidate to run for president or to be in any major position? You see what they did to Michael Steele. Remember Michael Steele, who used to be the chair of the RNC? And when he wanted to be his own man, they threw him to the wolves. When he wanted to be his own man. That's why he ain't messing with them no more. Both these political parties ain't shit. Scott, who's the guy who coons all the time? Scott, who really wants to be Donald Trump's running mate. Donald Trump ain't picking him. Donald Trump didn't even want the first black contestant who actually won. I think it was Kwame who actually won. And that shit was true. Behind the scenes, he was questioning whether America could handle the first contestant or can handle a black person winning, a black male in particular, winning that little rinky-dinky show he used to have on NBC, The Apprentice. Donald Trump had a problem, and the guy who was on the show has already come out and said that there was a lot of shit behind the scenes where Donald Trump was showing his racism because he didn't really want to see a black guy be the winner of his contest. That was going on behind the scenes. That's why he tried to split it and make him share the win with the white dude. Y'all remember that? Do y'all remember his housing discrimination against black people? People that live in New York, they know Donald Trump better than you. And let's not forget that Biden, who's losing his mind, Biden used to run with Strom Thurmond, a true Dixiecrat, right? Crafting the crime bill that put more black people, black men in jail. Remember that? Or remember Biden quoting how he didn't want his kids to go into a racial jungle during the busing situation that was happening in Boston, Massachusetts, and throughout the country. Oh yeah, both of them, they're the same. One's losing his mind, one lies a lot, both play games. And the political system is a pawn that plays us like a chessboard by making us argue with each other over both these political parties when we ain't winning shit, because all these candidates, mostly white, are going to leave office with money in a bag and a good health plan. Hell, Donald Trump's not even the president, and he's got the best damn security. It didn't look so good the other day when he got almost deleted, but he's got, right. Donald Trump, check this out. How many black men have a felony on their record and can't get a job? This man's got a felony, whether you believe that he should have got it or not. Donald Trump's got a felony, yet he can still run for president, and Donald Trump's not doing a day in jail. Yet, if it was a black man, one of us, we would be going to jail right now. We wouldn't be running around doing campaign speeches. And we wouldn't have a corrupt Supreme Court that gives us immunity. No black man's been given immunity in this country. So therefore, we need to wake up and realize both political parties are playing us like a harmonica and like a damn violin. Okay, y'all? What's going on? Last call, Alicia. Double R, thank you for being here. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate that. Exactly. Thank you, Dennis. Dennis, thank you. Thank you for coming through. Like I said, I know that people are not going to gravitate to this type of content because it's not polarizing enough. I can tell that with what's happening on my other channel. My other channel, the Info Media Reacts, that channel's been dormant for about a year. As soon as I start doing the polarizing content on that channel, it pops. Everything's popping. The algorithms is feeding it into the system and feeding it and feeding it. Over here, I'm shadow banned. Anyway, and I know that people are not getting the notifications. And when you don't go live a lot on a channel, everybody doesn't get the notifications as much. That's why they say be consistent and put out content a lot, because the people that come over to your channel, they'll send it back to them when you're going live a lot, or you're just putting content out. On this channel, I go live once a week. And the other channel, I've been putting out content more, so therefore it's popping through the algorithm. I know how YouTube works, but I also understand on this channel, I have a different thing that I do on this channel that doesn't always translate to people being interested in watching unless I'm doing if I was doing all the content that I'm doing on the other channel, on this channel would be deeply back into the algorithms just like that. So I understand how it works, but I appreciate everybody for coming over. Those that have showed up, thank you. Share the video in all your social media if you don't mind. Thank you. Let me put this up here and say thank you for watching the program today. Like and comment. Subscribe to the channel, to the Information Man Show. Subscribe to the Info Media Reacts. You're probably going to like that. Probably better than what I do over here, because I'm doing more polarizing content over there. If you like sports and stuff like that, check out my sports channel, the Prime Sports Media channel. That's doing pretty good, where I talk about what's happening at Colorado, Coach Prime, the players, the whole 9 yard. Check out that channel as well. So Info Media Reacts, I'm coming with a doozy for you for tomorrow, because that's the channel that I think is the channel that out of the blue, YouTube is like pushing it through the algorithms. It's pretty obvious to me what's happening with that channel. So I'm riding with it right now. And I thank you for supporting all the channels that I'm on. This one, as well as the Info Media Reacts. Check it out. Thank you. And I'll see you again on this channel next week. Maybe I'll do something during the week as well on this channel. I thank everybody in the chat room. Jay, the informant, I appreciate you. I appreciate you, Oh Reliable. Thank you for saying good live. Oh Reliable, you've been rocking with me for a very long time. I respect you. Oh Reliable, let's tell the truth on this, Oh Reliable.
Tell the truth.
You've been following me all the way back to the days when True Royal Family and that whole group of people discovered me on YouTube. And then they started supporting me. You know, there was a lot of things that were going on back then. But you've been rocking with me ever since those days. So you know that I'm real with this. I've always been consistent with what I've been doing over here. So I appreciate you. Make sure, Oh Reliable, Mike B's been rocking with me. Everybody, make sure, Oh Reliable, that you make sure you subscribe to the Info Media Reacts channel, which used to be Information Man Speaks Podcast. I rebranded that channel because, you know, for whatever reason, people like the content that I'm doing over there because it's more polarizing. It's more in your face. It's more gospelly, you know. Just check me out. I'm doing everything right now on the YouTube streets. And I understand how it works, you know. If you stop doing content on a channel for a little while, it can get a little dormant until you start popping the content out. And it's just the way it works, right? But I do believe that YouTube doesn't send my notifications out on this channel like they should. Because people tell me all the time, hey man, I didn't get a notification. And that's either because the channel is, you know, when you're doing content where you're really trying to get into information that really is what people need to hear, YouTube doesn't want that. They want to suppress that. So they'll make sure that, if he's got 17,000 subs on the channel, let's make sure that we don't send out the notifications to everybody that's on that channel. Just send out a little bit. We want to make him irrelevant, and we want to suppress his numbers and try to get him, discouraged. You know what I mean? So everybody, thank you. Alicia, thank you for putting in there. Alicia is one of my great mods. I really appreciate you too, sister. I can't tell you how much I need to start giving out gift certificates to people who have been rocking with me for a long time and been doing a great job as mods. And Alicia, you're one of those people. Oh Reliable, Mike B. I got to start figuring out a way that I can send out appreciations to folks. So maybe I need to get some gift cards and then figure out a way how to send these gift cards to you to recognize the people who do a great job and rock with me on pretty much every platform that I'm on. And I really appreciate that. So I've got to figure out a way to show appreciation to those mods like yourself. So that's something I need to be doing. Black Anonymous, thank you, brother. Always, brother. You're another great mod in the chat room. Jay the Informant, you know I'm going to probably end up modding you up on this channel because I got you modded up on the other channel, the reaction channel. So go ahead. People say I got too many mods, but most of the people that I mod up are people that rock with me and do a good job in the chat room and are very informed people. So, Jay the Informant, brother, here you go. You're already modded up on the reaction channel. I might as well mod you up over here because you've been rocking with me too. So I'll give you respect as well. So everybody, I'll be back with content on this channel, but be on the lookout. Be on the lookout for the next content on the Reacts channel. It's sure to get lots of people watching because I'm going to be doing some commentary on Sexy Red and the whole controversy around her. I've got to do some reaction to some stuff that Lord Jamar was saying about her. So be on the lookout for that. That will be a pre-produced video, which I'm going to start working on right after I end this show. I'm going to start working on that content, and I'll be dropping that video early in the morning so that it gets views from the early morning all the way into the evening, because that channel, that's how it works over there. People gravitate towards the content, and I'm recognizing it, and I'm just saying, look, keep giving the people what they want, right? And some of the stuff that I be doing over there, I am interested in that stuff, okay? I am going to be doing a video. I thought about doing it on this channel, but I'm going to be doing a video about hip hop in terms of breakdancing and the origins of that, because that's still an ongoing debate on these YouTube streets. This whole thing about who created hip hop, who created the hip hop dance, the up rock, right? The up rock, the low rock, the down rock, the burning. I'm going to get into it because I've got some exciting video clips that I'm going to be putting out on these YouTube streets on that reaction channel, where and I'm going to be going live when I do that show. So be on the lookout for that show as well on these YouTube streets. Everybody take care. I really appreciate you all. Peace, everybody.
Been feeling crazy lately, feeling so crazy, and I don't wanna seem lonely.
Y'all take care, peace.
I don't wanna seem lonely, but I don't wanna be lonely, lonely.
Middle 2010s, stuck in a place secluded deep in my mind. I'm looking out through the lens. Was in a rush to become who I am. Looking back, then I realized that I do it again. All these unfamiliar faces fade from existence. Back with impeccable time and I've been forgiven, but I'm never forgetful. I kept it solid and simple, stuck to the real. My word been a bind, yours artificial. You frequent with the slipper. Used to love this shit more like this was all that I needed. Travel the edge of the world and mix the pleasure with business. Took my time on it, won't benefit from overdue revision. Learn you they lackluster love is rooted deep in the evil. Won't tread water lightly, the waves intimidate them. Won't lend my hand much too often, I set the expectation. Now I navigated dolo, unclear on praises you gave. When there's the finest line between jealousy signs and your vibration. This one's for them calling me crazy, more for the ones that told them pay me no mind. Those were the words that shaped me. Well rounded it would appear that I pieced it all together. Standing here puzzled at the way we built up the foundation. This one's for the brodies, I got us. Get 50-50, keep it some of 100. Make do what life has got us. Let go of wait and put faith in the process. Make the most of it. I'll be God as the time we allotted. Call it how I see it, provide our witness statement. The way things been gone, I'm all in on the table. They made the plan for their night, I made the long-term arrangement to take it up to a peak that we no longer afraid of. I just wanna be your everything, 'cause that's who you are to me.
Lie to me, tell me that you'll be there for me. 'Cause things been feeling crazy lately, feeling so crazy, and I don't wanna seem lonely, 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 but I don't wanna be lonely, no, no.
Tell the truth.
Time's been moving slowly,